I mean, it's a big challenge. Talk about one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Got a lot of skill, playmakers on the field. I mean, this is a big challenge for us. I think this game is probably the most important game, we've played, up until this point. So it's going to take all of us to kind of get it done.
Tyrann Mathieu hits the nail on the head. Justin Herbert and the Chargers quietly at 8-5, just one game behind the Kansas City Chiefs for first place in the AFC West. A victory would result in a tie, and also the Chargers would hold the tiebreaker because they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium earlier this year. And it was a win by the Chargers on a Thursday night in Kansas City 3 years ago that put them in position to potentially be the number one seed in the AFC. They'd lose on a Saturday to the Ravens and squander that and end up being wild cards. They'd beat the Ravens actually in the wild card round for some payback. But the Chargers had the potential again to thrust themselves deep into this conversation. They could be the one seed by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah,
now,
I mean, you're right.
They'd lose the tiebreaker. They'd lose the tiebreaker with the Patriots,
right.
But still, they could finish 12-5. And we just need to see more consistency from them. That's been lacking, or their record would be a lot better than it currently is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, they're not out of that. You're right. As far as the way the AFC is shaking out right now, and even the Patriots, they got some tough games left on the schedule. Still got to play the Bills again. You got the Colts Saturday night. Those aren't gimmies for sure. It's going to be an interesting matchup. It is. It's two teams, of course, that know each other pretty well. The Chiefs, their offense, it's not what it once was. It's had moments of being better, but, man, I mean, it was only 2 weeks ago against Denver where we went, I don't know, interceptions, bad throw, missed throw, all that. Last week, I know we forget, we have amnesia because they scored 49 or 48 points against the Raiders, but even within that, the defense was the star of the show. The offense was good, but it still didn't look like when I watched the film to go, oh, man, the offense is back. That's it. No, I'm not ready to go there yet. And then you add Brandon Staley, his defense, pass defense, Vic Fangio's school of defense, Wade Phillips' school of defense. He knows how to defend Andy Reid and the passing game, let alone they have a good pass defense and a good pass rush. So that's where it's going to be interesting. And to me, Mike, again, being Johnny Football Guy or whatever over here, one of the things I'm going to look for today, the Chiefs got to run the football. The Mahomes and Tyreek and Hill magic is not just going to be there game after game this year. We know that. They are what they are at this point. It's spotty, and it's not going to be able to be relied on. But, the Chargers we know aren't great at stopping the run. Can Andy Reid here down the stretch in the playoffs just continue to run the ball? And I'd like to see him run more than he did last week, but run the ball, to help his offense out, play through the defense a little bit that's more dominant, take advantage of a weakness of a team, which is their run-stop defense. And most importantly, Mike, I just look at it and go, we have this conversation a lot. You evaluate a team, you go, okay, where's their unit that the money and everything's special for, the assets? Well, it's their offensive line. And to me, they're wasting a big part of their assets in the fact that they don't let them dominate in the run game enough. And that's, again, I know it's always been one of Andy Reid's things, but I feel like he's been trying to run the ball. I want him to go all in there. I think it can be a great advantage for the Chiefs football team, especially tonight and going into the playoffs.
And 132 rushing yards against the Raiders on Sunday. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 10 carries for 37 yards, 2 touchdowns. Derek Gore had 9 for 66 and 1 touchdown.
That long run at the end, too. That was
you need more production, just more production out of that running game, more of a commitment to it. And this gets back to the conversation we had last year about the Steelers. You don't just flip a switch in December and become a run-heavy team. It's an attitude that needs to be baked into the offensive line, the entire offensive approach from training camp, because you're firing off the ball. You're setting the tone. You are taking your body and you are smashing it into someone else's body instead of waiting for a guy that you're just trying to ward off and redirect and not get to your quarterback. It's two very, very different skill sets.
Yeah.
Run block and pass block.
No doubt.
And if you're not committed to the run block, if you don't have guys who can do it well, if you don't take advantage of it, if you don't build that rhythm, you think about it. You're asking guys from one play to the next to do something that is very, very different. And I think guys they want to, if you've got that toughness and physicality, you want to do that, but you have to be committed to it as a team, or you lose the ability to do it as well as you could.
No, exactly right. And, I don't think the year started out that way. I think they still thought they were going to be able to throw the ball and do everything that way that they always have for the whole Mahomes era, but it's changed. They've tried a little bit, and have had some success. I mean, it has at least become a part of their offense where you can't disregard it. But I think there's still a little meat left on the bone. And you're right. I don't know. Can they change the attitude or add a few plays to their, run schemes that, can maybe take them over the edge? They're in a better place at least than where the Steelers were last year. I'll say that. And they're certainly more talented up front. I mean, this is, again, we're talking about a $100 million offensive line. I don't know if it's exactly that, but I'm saying that just to make the point of there's a lot of big investments, draft picks, money, whatever is all there. That's an area they need to take advantage of. I mean, again, the Chargers, and like we've talked about with a lot of great offenses, especially when you get into passing offenses, you need more than just two guys, right? We've had this discussion. Great offenses in the history of football, there's usually three legitimate things to wait, that's a mismatch. We're worried about this. They don't have that. It's two guys. It's Hill and Kelsey. And a lot of games, and against a coach like this with Brandon Staley, he's going to find a way to take one of them away in some big situations or kind of consistently through the football game. And that's where they need that run element, in my opinion. They're just a different team this year. They are. The defense is the star of the show. They are some butt kickers right now on that side of the ball, and very fun to watch.
And they need it because Justin Herbert, and let's put this in proper perspective.
Right.
Tom Brady did not throw 30 touchdown passes in a season until his 8th year in the NFL and 7th as a starter, not until 2007.
Right.
Justin Herbert, first player ever to have 30 touchdown passes in each of his first two NFL seasons. Most completions by a player through the first two NFL seasons, 734. This is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. That rocket that he fired against the Giants on Sunday was a thing of beauty. I'm confused by the inability of the Chargers to sustain it. They went through a stretch where they lost 3 out of 4 and 4 out of 6. I mean, they've strung a couple of wins together. But Herbert, one of the great young quarterbacks in the NFL, and this is his moment. This is his opportunity. Prime time, big stage. Let's see what he can do. It feels like both these teams are going to be playoff teams. The question is which one wins the division. And I've liked the Chargers all year long. And I know we're all back on the Chiefs, but this is one that I think could go either way, Chris.
I agree. There's no slam dunk. Let's not fall into the trap of just because we saw the Chiefs explode against a Raiders team last week that we think, oh, they're back totally. Again, I'm not sold on that. Like you said, 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Football, it was drop passes, it was missed throws, it was missing passes to guys where I'd go, damn, Ramapo High School, that quarterback would have hit that. So I'm not ready to say they're back on that side of the ball by any stretch of the imagination. No way. And Herbert and the Chargers have got it going on the offensive side of the ball. Mike, you brought up their losses. One thing that jumps out to me about their losses, all those teams can run the football. The Broncos, the Vikings, the Patriots, the Ravens, the Cowboys. All of them got overpowering. That's how you beat the Chargers. Other than that, you're playing with fire because of what you talked about. Now, okay, Herbert's on the field more because you throw a little bit more, and they're going to make plays. They have a very good offense. One thing I banged the table for weeks on my podcast, really a month ago, is they got to throw the ball down the field more. They got into a little bit of hey, the Saints offense, and we're going to be real efficient, and it's going to be 6 yards and 7 yards and bing, bong, boom, and we're going to throw for 75%, and I want to go, great. But it's not capitalizing on all they had to offer, and especially their quarterback, who's arguably the best deep ball thrower in football, but they were throwing the ball deep less than any team in football, and that doesn't make sense. And they've kind of got back to throwing the ball aggressively down the field here the last few weeks, and you see, it makes the rest of their offense good, because all of a sudden when you're worried about defending 60 yards behind your back, man, those 5 and 8 yard completions become way more wide open. And I think that's what we've seen here, and I do. I think this is a coin flip type of game tonight. I certainly do.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.